So round two, trying to go live with Christina Gadar. There's always something, let me tell you. There is always something. Hopefully she's able to join though this time. I'm not sure. Okay, she joined. Here she is. But let's see. I'm just gonna send this invite. I don't know. This is just the life I live. There we go. Okay, good.
It was my fault. It was my fault. I had to enable microphone access for some reason, maybe with the earbuds.
That's fine.
So,
don't worry about it. You made it. That's all that matters.
Now that I'm all jittery.
Now that she's like, it's not going to work. But sorry, you made it. Everybody, thank you so much for bearing with us. This is Christina Gadar. Christina is a classical instructor based down in Sarasota, Florida, which holds a special place in my heart because I actually grew up spending summers in Sarasota, which is so funny that this has come like a full circle for me, like instructors from places that I know and love. But Christina, why don't you go ahead and give yourself like a little intro? I'm finding the best angle. And so go ahead and introduce yourself and then we'll get started with the workout.
All right. Well, like Victoria said, my name is Christina Maria Gadar, and I am a Pilates teacher. Another thing we have in common. Well, I'm a Pilates teacher, obviously. I'm also a Pilates author, and like Victoria said, I'm based out of Sarasota, Florida, and I was certified by Romana Krzyzanowska in 2000 in New York.
Wow, 2000. It's a long time ago. All right, cool. You guys, I stripped one layer, and I just had the same thing underneath. It's so easy when you create your own clothing. All right, so Christina, we are just going to go ahead and get started then with the mat portion. Hopefully this is like a good angle. I had to work around some stuff today.
Yes.
But how would you like anybody at home?
Could we start out standing just before we get to the mats?
I'm just going to tilt this then.
Okay.
Okay, so hopefully you should be able to see most of me.
All right. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm jittery after not being so good with my technology.
Oh my goodness, don't worry about it. You know what? There's always something. Don't even worry about it.
Well, let's just take the deepest breath we've taken all day.
Okay.
Just take the deepest breath and hold on to it. And then very gradually empty out your lungs. Just let the shoulder blades slide down your back like slippery bars of soap, and take one more very deep breath in, hold it, and empty out the lungs. Now let's wake up the feet. You're going to stack your forearms and keep your elbows lifted, and that's a good stance. And I'm going to have you lift your powerhouse so deep that your heels just float off of the mat, and your heels will stay together as you rise up. And keep them together for stability as you bend your knees in line with your toes over the second toes. And keep your knees bent as the heels press to the floor. And keep the heels down as you zip up your legs. And we go again. The powerhouse lifts your heels. Bend the knees. Press through your heels. Stretch the Achilles tendons and lengthen the thighs. Now we reverse it. Grow taller as you bend your knees. And lift your heels, keeping the knees bent. Zip up the inner thighs like you're zipping up tight pants. And then resist gravity as the heels come down. For one more, bend the knees. 1, lift the heels together. 2, zip up the inner thighs. 3, and resist as you lower. Now let your elbows separate and have a big round arm position like a closed hug. And let's do, well, you'll have your fingertips facing each other. That's right. And we're going to do a wedding workout exercise for the guppy jubies. You're going to, you're going to keep your arms nice and strong, like strong stems, and your hands are the delicate flowers. And you're going to draw the fingertips toward you without moving your elbows, curling those fingers in, roll the wrists down, and then the fingertips will face away from each other. And then the fingertips will come toward each other with the palms facing out. You could put your arms just a little lower so I can see your arms. There you go. Good. And then let the fingertips press away from each other. The elbows don't move. And then the fingertips curl down, down, and around, and the palms face you. That's it. Do two more. Fingertips come toward your body. Fingertips curl down and around. The fingertips point away from each other for a moment. And then the fingertips face each other. And one more time, fingertips spread out. Let the fingertips go away from your midline, like this. Out, down, and around.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I couldn't really see with the little live thing there. Just do one more time.
Corkscrewing
Yeah.
my wrist.
Yes, the fingertips come in toward your body, down and around, and then backs of the hands face you. And then one more time, fingertips face out away from the midline. I know it's easier when I can show you and you only see my head here. So let the arms come down. We could go through that another time, but I think you get an idea now. Let's just wake up the whole body. Why don't you step on your mat, and you can stand profile where I can see you that in that sideways point of view. And in Pilates stance, we'll do a little bit of physical culture to just wake up the whole body. Without shifting your weight back, let your fingertips go to your toes, rolling through your spine. So you just bend forward. Good. Now after you bend forward, I want you to reach forward with your arms parallel to the floor and get your torso parallel to the floor too. So reach your arms forward by your ears, flat back. Good. Now pull the stomach in and lift your body up all the way standing tall. And open your arms and lift your chest to the sun as the arms circle down. And do that one more time. Roll through your spine and touch your toes. And now you're going to elongate your spine, take up the space in the room. Good. Lift your arms up, pressing that pelvis forward. Open the arms, chest to the sun, and come down. Good. Now get the pelvis under you. Let's reverse it. Start with the arms in front of you at shoulder level, palms to the ceiling. And lower the arms down by your hips. Reverse the circle going out and over your head. That's right. And dive to your toes. Try not to rock back onto your heels. And then you're going to lift your C curve to roll up the spine. Arms stay down by your sides. And we do it one more time. Palms forward at shoulder level in front of you. And then you're going to lower the arms down by your hips. Sweep them behind you. Circle them overhead and touch the toes. Nose to the knees. And just roll up from there. That's it. And you don't even need to cross the ankles. Just take a seat right where you are. And we'll start with your roll down. So let's do this with your feet and knees together, legs bent, and the hands right behind each thigh. That's it. And hide those thumbs too. No gripping. There you go. So tuck your head in as if you're under a very low ceiling. And I want you to pull your rib cage behind you as your head floats forward. Just leave the hands there. You're going to roll back only until the arms straighten. Roll back, pull the waist back. Good. And I'll leave the hands there and float forward, head under that low ceiling. And do that one more time. Not leading with the shoulders, but pulling the belly button behind you. Scooping out the abdominals as you roll back. Hold it there as you tilt the pelvis back. And then come back home under that low ceiling. One more time, pull the belly button behind you, pull the rib cage behind you. Now the fingertips start to slide down the backs of the thighs and you get the base of your shoulder blades on the mat. That's it. Oh my goodness, 1 second. Okay, I think I might be disconnected. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, but it's saying, I know, but you know what? Okay, well, it might happen in 5 minutes though, because I have a time limit for myself on Instagram. And I think that it might shut me down, so we might have to start again.
We'll figure it out, Christina. It's fine.
Okay,
I think you can, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, hopefully, I can ask for for the whole day. I can cheat. Okay. All right, so now that you've held that forever, take one leg out at knee level, and then take the other leg out as well to match it. And let's do your 100. Start to pump. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 10, and in. And out, 2, 3, 4, 20. Lengthen from the backs of the legs. Lengthen from under your arms. And in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 40. Inhale. And exhale. Now hold it there. Take your toes down a little bit lower near your eye level. Take the palms of your hands and press them firmly against your outer thighs into what I call a hollowed out canoe. Deep in that scoop. And from there, I want you to sit right up into your rolling like a ball shape. Just hold that balance. Grab those ankles. And now pretend, like Romana would say, your head is a block of wood in a vise between your knees. Get your head right in there. And you're only going to roll back once. Massage your back, rolling, and you're going to come up and balance. And then right away you go into that hollowed out canoe shape. Lengthen out, hug the legs firmly, and come right up into your ball. That's it. Now I want you to look out past your toes like you're looking out over a cliff to get a little more lift in your low back. Lifting, that's it. And roll back again. Massage the back and come up. And then a hollowed out canoe. Zip up the legs. And one more time, balance in a ball, roll back, pin the knees to your earlobes, and come up. And then lengthen out in your hollowed out canoe shape and stay there. Keep the legs there as the arms reach up and back for your double leg stretch. But don't circle the arms open. Just keep reaching behind you, even farther, farther. Reach for that wall. That's it. And now double the legs up, bend the knees into yourself, and grab those ankles tight.
Sorry.
That's okay. And go again. You don't need to. And go again. Inhale, stretch out long and strong. Get those arms behind you, Victoria. Reach farther, farther. That's it. And just bring the arms straight down to your ankles. Exhale. Now one more. Stretch out long and strong. Your head just floats forward, and you're going to roll up into your teaser shape. Roll right up. Keep your legs straight and lift your left leg, let's say, higher. I know it's mirror reflection, but lift one leg up and grab the ankle, keeping it straight. And lie down into your single straight leg shape. The base of the shoulder blades go to the mat, not the shoulders. Now, instead of pulling the leg toward you, pull the leg up through to the ceiling. Pull it up. That's it. Pierce the clouds with your toes and change. Pierce the clouds with your toes and a little faster. Slice the air. One, and two. And one more set. That's it. And now zip up the legs. Both legs up. Stack your hands behind your head and lift your upper body a little higher for double straight leg. Inhale, take your time, lower. 2, 3, and arriba, up. And again, inhale, down, and exhale, up. And one more time, down. Now stay here. I'm going to be very mean. You're going to roll toward me, and you're going to stack your hips. That's it. Stack your shoulders. 3 side sit-ups. Keep the Pilates stance. Up 1. Lift that elbow off the mat. Up 2. Up 3. Now roll to your back and bring your knees to your chest and stay round. You can do it. Bring your head in, and now stay on your back. Stretch your legs out near eye level. Pilates stance. Now keep the feet off the ground as you roll away from me, balancing on your bottom hip, and 3 side sit-ups, long legs. You can do it. Oh, it's a narrow mat too. So up 1. You could do it 2. Better the previous attempts. Up 3 and roll to your back. Keep your head up. Laughing works your abdominals too, so it's good. Stretch your legs up to 45 degrees and take your arms above your legs. And roll up to your toes. You can do it. That's it. Now keep your arms there and open your legs to the top front corners of the room and lower them down.
We're still there.
That was my time limit, but I'm back. So now you're going to take your arms up overhead and circle them behind you on the mat. That was a lot of abdominals. So put the heels of your hands on the mat and lift your chest to the ceiling. Put your fingertips away from your body. You can leave your bottom down on the mat, fingertips back. That's it. And just lift your chest up to the sun. Get a suntan, as Romana would say. Good. Now take your arms in front of you. Pretend you're in Florida. Take your arms in front. Take a deep breath in and flex those feet. Chin to your chest for spine stretch forward. Empty out your lungs. Get the last drop of air out of the lungs and come up for air, sitting tall. Now let's put the hands on the mats the way Joe would teach it and pretend you're just plowing out the snow on the streets of New York and just slide those hands across the mat and get your head right down to the mat. Now stay there and grab your insteps. That's it. The inner borders of your feet, and bend your elbows and knees a little and get your crown of your head to the mat even more. And then stretch your legs while keeping your head down, keeping your elbows bent. And then inhale, roll all the way up with your arms floating above your legs. They're just at shoulder level above your legs. Now tilt your pelvis back and pull the belly button behind you into a nice C curve. And as you do that, the legs float up straight into your hands for open leg rocker, the reversal of your spine stretch forward. Find the stillness here and roll back. Massage your back. And up one. Now keep your thumbs with your fingertips, less gripping. Hide those thumbs. Yes, that's it, a little different. And roll back, massage the back. And lift up, find the stillness here. And one more time, roll through your spine. And lift, draw straight legs together. Keep your legs straight together, flex your feet. Can you try to grab the outer borders of your feet, the fifth metatarsals? You've got long legs.
Yeah,
and see if you can do your monkey stretch here. Think of bringing your rib cage toward your thighs, your forehead toward your shins, and the crown of the head up to your toes. Good. Now keep your feet flexed as you stack your hands behind your head. And lower your legs straight down to the mat and sit up straight in an L shape, right angle. Good. Now, this is an archival variation of neck pull. Round forward over your legs, keeping them together, feet flexed. Roll up your spine, stomach, ribs, chest, shoulders, head. Now take your elbows forward and roll through your spine. Elbows forward and round the body. Pretend you're pulling on a foot strap. And head down briefly and come right back up, not over your legs, just roll up and sit up in that right angle. That's it, good. And we start again, round forward, nose to the knees, roll up, lengthen your spine, take your elbows forward, that's it, and round your body. Pull the belly button behind you, pull the rib cage behind you, sternum, head down. And one more time, zipping up those legs, roll up to sit up, keep your elbows wide. And now us Brazilian girls are very proud of our bundas, our Brazilian bottoms. So you're going to walk on your bottom to the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just walk on your bottom, but try not to wiggle those elbows, which is harder when you do the backward walks. Yes. And then walk forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Walk on the sit bones. That's it. And again, walk back. Romana would have us do this in a teaser shape. It was really difficult. And then walk forward again, right on your sit bones, chest lifted. That's it. Stay there. Now stretch your arms forward at your shoulder level and pull your waistline behind you. Elongate your feet, Pilates stance. And as you pull your waist back, your legs float up to 45 degrees and you only put the base of your shoulder blades on the mat. Arms are up just above your legs. Reach above your toes. Good. This is an archival version of teaser. Roll up and reach not to your toes. Reach above your toes. 1. And keep the arms parallel to your legs and roll down. Pull a great weight just to the shoulder blades. Yes. And roll up. Reach above your toes. That's it. Good. And then resist gravity as you go to the base of your shoulder blades. And you have one more rolling up. And one more going back. And then you get a stretch. Bend one knee into your chest in a single leg stretch shape, that position, and hold it. This is your back stretch. Enjoy it. Lift those elbows and deepen your scoop. Good. Now change legs. Pull that knee to your earlobe and lift the underarms. It's another wedding workout exercise. And 2 more. Change. Pull the knee to your earlobe. Get a good stretch. And last time, stretch that leg out. Very good. All right, now stretch that leg out so both legs are out in front of you. We have to finish your 100, the last 5. You have to do it. You can do it.
Every time
but I'll change it up a little bit. It'll be better. Yes. So pump, just keep your legs there and breathe. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 10. Now, as you pump on the second set, lift your legs up to 90. Give your back a little rest. Yeah. That's it. And on the third set, you gradually lower your legs to whatever your working height is at this point of the mat work. And then a fourth set, gradually coming up to your 90-degree angle, zipping up those inner thighs. And your final set, breathing in as your legs lower, breathing out as you reach your final destination. Hold it. Press the palms firmly against your outer thighs. Find that hollowed out canoe length and don't let it be static. Deepen and turn to your stomach for the reversal of your 100. You're swimming. That's it. Okay, you're in the Gulf of Mexico now. Lift your chest up. Opposite arm and leg are lifting and start to swim. Go for a swim. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 10. That's it. Splash the water. Push out the backs of your hands and the backs of your knees and just lower your body there and rest. Good. Now you're not going to sit back, but I want you to create a little tunnel under your belly button for a little tiny snail to go right through to just stretch out your back. Put your hands under your shoulders and curl your toes under and take your powerhouse and hips with you as you press up into your plank. You can do it. Hips with you, heels together. Good. Now, I don't want you to rock back in this variation of leg pull down. Just take the toes of one foot off of the mat and then lift that leg up and pulse it up twice. Up, up. That's it. Nice and high. And take it down. Now take the toes of the other foot off and up, up. Good. And just to save time, bring one hand over to the other, cross your feet, and let's do the reversal, the leg pull up. And adjust your hands as is best for you. Pretend there is an ice pick under your seat, Ramana would say. And kick one leg up and flex the foot, hips higher, and kick up with the other leg. And take up space and do 2 more. Kick and reach through your heel. 1 more. Kick and bend one knee under the other leg for your kneeling side kicks. Get the hip over the knee. That's it, your Greek columns. Hip over knee, shoulder over wrist, hand behind your head, and press your pelvis forward a little more and lift your leg up to working height. And Joe started kneeling side kicks to the back. So let's swing the leg to the back. And let's bicycle the leg to the front. Bend the knee to the front and stretch. And swing it back. Bend the knee and bicycle it to the front. Come home and reverse it. Swing forward and back pedal. And one more time, keep that inner thigh lifted and swing it front. Now keep the knee bent to the back and keep your elbow up, but look over your bottom shoulder and try to see your toes back there. Chest up, lift that elbow up to the ceiling still. Yes. Take your leg out to the side and press up to both knees as we go to the other side. Float. You're in a narrow chamber. Your hips just stay right over your knees and swing it back. And bicycle front. And push your head into your hand and swing it back. And bicycle forward with that knee lifting. Reverse it, swing front. And back pedal. Good, and swing forward. And pelvis forward, hold it bent back there. You can bend that knee, bring your head to your toes, and bring the leg back out to the side and push up. That's it. Knees together and sit on one hip for your snake. Your feet could be at the end where your feet were from 100, at the other end. Let's do the other end. Just yes. Good. Okay. So have your feet stacked and look over toward your feet. You can have your knees bent, I think, a little bit more. Just yes. And we'll adjust. So now let that top foot go in front of the other and rotate toward the mat as you go into your up stretch to begin your snake. Up stretch, Pilates stance, heels together. Rotate even more. Get your hips square with the mat. It'll be a little different maybe. Yes. Get your head in there. Lift your C curve higher, higher. You can keep Pilates stance. That's it. And now take your chest forward. So just Pilates stance, feet as usual, and go forward. Chest through the arms. Exhale. Good. Push the floor away with your hands. Have your feet side by side, Victoria. I don't think they are. Just a Pilates stance. Yes. Heels together. Good. And now tuck your head in. And I want you to really have a ripple effect. Ripple up your spine. The sternum lifts to the ceiling. Ribs, waist, up. And now take your knees toward me. Your hip touches the mat before your knees. Hips to the mat. Yes, that's it. Look over your shoulder like you're getting a kiss on the cheek. And then go again. Lift your hips. Go into your Pilates stance. Up stretch. There you go. That's it. Lift that C curve. And now take your chest through the arms. Exhale. Push the backs of your knees up to the ceiling. Push the hands away from the ground. Chin to your chest. Lift your sternum. That's good articulation. Ribs, waistline. Lift your C curve. Take your knees forward. Your hip touches before your knees. And we take the hands behind you, and you can kick your toes to your nose. Teaser your legs over to the other side, still facing me.
This is a
Good, let's do two more.
A meaner follow-up to kneeling side kicks than mermaid.
Yes, it is. I will agree to that. So you can look over toward your feet and inhale, up stretch. Rotate your body toward the mat. Lift your C curve. Walk your feet in just a little more. Get more of that up stretch. Yeah, that's it. Now lift your rib cage to the ceiling and inflate that spot between your shoulder blades. You know, that's it. Good. Now take your chest through the arms and exhale. Lengthen, hiss like a snake. Chin to your chest. That's right. Lift your sternum, your rib cage, your waistline. Good. Don't go out of the shoulder joint, though. Keep your shoulders a little more over your wrists and lift your waistline. Yes, your ribs lift up. And then take your knees to knee and take a seat with control. One more time. Right back up into your up stretch. That's a deep C curve. Burrow your head in there a little more. There you go. And now take your chest through the arms. Empty your lungs. Pull the chest through and lower your head first. Roll up, zipping up those inner thighs. And take a seat with your hip landing before the knees. Turn right to your stomach for your rocking. Grab those ankles. And I want you to push the tops of your feet against your hands. Push them, push them, push your shins to the wall behind you and rock back and forth. Joe would say in Return to Life, get your chin to the mat. Get that chin to the mat. Yes, right. And now sit back on your heels, counter stretch. Round the body, deep in the C curve, lifting the ribs off the thighs. And now jump through your hands for the reversal of your rocking, which is your crab. Just sit right through the hand. That's it. Now you're going to cross the ankles and grab your feet and pull your knees to your shoulders. Yes, grab the feet. And then you roll forward onto the hairline, onto the crown of the head. Yeah, that's better for me. Good. Yeah. And lift the bottom. And then roll back. Bottoms up. And crab legs from the hips. Out in. Cha-cha. And roll forward. And lift your C curve and roll back. And cha-cha. Good. One more time onto the crown of the head and hold it and just take a seat and uncross your feet. Go ahead and lie down for your high bridge. Let's do some rolling now. Let's open up the chest. Fingertips pointing toward your shoulders. Adjust your feet as is necessary. Hands on the mat right by your shoulders.
Oh,
yes.
High bridge. I thought like this. Uh-oh.
Yes, this one, high bridge. And press up like a pop-up.
This is hard.
I told you. Now pull your collarbones away from your toes. Away from your toes. Pull your chest through the arms. You can keep your feet down. That's it. And then just bring your chin to your chest. And like your semicircle, roll down. Yes, and you can bring that chin to your chest a little bit more just to be extra safe on your neck. Although I know I'm giving you a lot, right? Let's just do your seal and one more thing. Go ahead and sit right up into your seal. And grapevine those arms through your legs. And let's do Joe's version where the soles of the feet clap and you really open up the low back. Ready? And cha-cha-cha, roll back. From the inner thighs, cha-cha-cha. Up, cha-cha-cha, lift the seat, bottoms up, cha-cha-cha, lift the back. And one more time, cha-cha-cha, roll back, and go ahead and stand right up.
Oh.
That's okay, I always need a little momentum. There you go. All right, now let's do one more thing, stand in profile, one more time like we did at the beginning, one more physical culture exercise. So you're in your Pilates stance. That should work, good. And then you're just going to roll through your spine. Let your fingertips go to your toes. Keep your pelvis forward, like you're pushing down on the wonder chair pedal. Now take your body forward like we did earlier with that flat back, arms in front of you. Now, keep those thighs lengthened. You could pull up in your thighs more. And you're going to sweep the arms toward me and spiral your body around. So take both arms toward me. Both. Both, yes. And now go into a little upper back bend, chest to the ceiling. That's right. And spiral around to the other side. There you go. And then reach to your toes, nose to the knees. Let your head hang like a rag doll. That's it. And now one more time, extend your arms forward. Lengthen your arms and your torso. Did you lose your
I got it.
pod?
Yeah, I got it.
There, okay. The things we didn't think we'd have to worry about in a Pilates lesson years ago. Now take the arms and sweep in the other direction, away from me. Spiral away. Now lift your chest to the sun, orbiting the sun, and go right down to your toes. Grab your ankles, kiss your knees, pull your sit bones up to the ceiling, and roll up slowly. And just finish with your arms at shoulder level in front of you, palms to the ceiling. And let's think about something from Greek mythology, because Joe was very much into ancient Greek culture. So lift the belly button in and up, keep your palms there, and in keeping with a little bit of a wedding theme, lift your sternum to the ceiling and pretend you are at Hera and Zeus's wedding, and you have a platter of golden apples and pomegranates that you're offering them as a wedding gift. Stay proud. They're getting that platter from you, so rest your arms and finish nice and tall, lifting your ears to the heavens, and relax. All right. A lot of technical
Christina, we did it. Good work.
You know that
hard.
social media time limit I put on my phone came back to bite me in the butt.
It's a good thing to have, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have something like that.
That's hysterical. My kids will get a real kick out of that.
Yeah, because you probably forced them to do it, and then you're like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Thank you
so
much. That was so hard. Oh my God. Like halfway through, I was like, uh-oh.
I was like, is she going to hate me?
No, I loved it. But also, I will say, like, the very beginning, we did 50 of the 100, and I'm like, oh, and
you knew.
Every time.
You
Like,
anticipated, yeah.
Straighten the second leg. I was like, is this it? Is this it? And then it wasn't. And so I was like, maybe she forgot. Maybe she's not going to make me do the second half. But then, of course, brought it in. I'm like, oh, no.
Well, you know, like, I think that hollowed out canoe shape is like the quintessential Pilates shape. It's in double leg stretch and 100 and backstroke. It's in and out of your teasers. So I just love that shape. And I thought, okay, well, let's try to do. I was also inspired by, you know, one of the quotes. Romana did an interview once with, I think it was Washington Post. And she was saying something like, when you do Pilates at a very high level, one exercise will melt right into the next.
Right.
And it's very hard to do. But I thought, okay, with a short amount of time,
you did it.
I want to give something that's, I don't know how I do it, but I wanted to give you something that just kind of, we went seamless. Like, you barely got a chance to rest your head down there on that mat. So
yeah,
you did a great job.
I was so grateful for that little single leg stretch. And then I'm like,
yes.
oh, thank God. But even that was like an active rest, you know,
active rest.
Yeah. So anyways, Christina, that was fabulous. Thank you so much. And for those of you tuning in, if you tuned in late and I didn't get the chance to title this, we are live with Christina Gadar, and she is a classical instructor based out of Sarasota, Florida. That's on the West Coast. That's why she had me swimming in the Gulf of Mexico. We just got a comment. I love seeing this class. I can only imagine how I look doing these moves. Thank you. From Clark. Anna. Oh, from Anna. Thank you. So yeah, this was a killer. If you tuned in late, I highly recommend rewatching and then also trying it at home because it was so challenging. I'm not sure that it looked as challenging as it felt. So it's one of those ones you really need to try to feel the burn. But so at the very beginning of class, you made a comment like bundas. I don't know what you said about.
Yeah, Romana, you know, she spoke Spanish and she knew some Portuguese too. And, you know, both of us have Brazilian blood. Right. And bunda is also slang. It's a slang word for your bottom.
Yeah.
And my mom is Brazilian, so I grew up using my bunda for everything. Like if the car door didn't shut all the way in, you don't use your hands, you use your bunda and you
Yeah.
get it in all the way.
Boom.
So yeah, so you just get
Someone,
rid of the mushy tushy and work
yeah,
the bottom. Yeah.
someone commented about that. So I wanted to make sure that we knew that I
Oh, what
pointed
that
out.
meant. Oh,
No, yeah, of
think
course, but no, of course, I think we all know it's like a little booty. But
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
but in talking about that and why you mentioned it, because you do have a Brazilian background. We spoke at length on the phone yesterday,
Yeah,
and we talked about so much, but your background is so interesting. You were born and raised here, but you have
yeah,
heavy Brazilian influence with your mom and especially her mother, your grandmother, who you were so close
yeah.
with. And now your children are being raised to speak Portuguese. And I think it's so cool. And now you also speak Portuguese, although you didn't really speak growing up.
Yeah, I just heard it. I would hear lots of music like Roberto Carlos, Carmen Miranda, and that's one of the best ways to pick up a language, I think, is listening to music because because of the rhythm and the melody, you have less likelihood of using getting too much of a heavy accent. Although who
Mm-hmm.
cares? Accents are fine. Being
Yeah.
able to communicate is the main thing.
Yes.
And yeah, so my mom, she came to the United States as a Fulbright scholar. All my family, they're all scientists. Well, most
Wow.
of them. And so she went to the University of Pittsburgh. And then I was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan, while she was getting her PhD in human genetics. And then
Wow.
when I was just a year old, that's why I consider myself a Massachusetts girl. We moved to Massachusetts. She
Mm-hmm.
did her postdoc work at Harvard, and then she set up all of these biotech labs. I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
we spoke for a
how did
long time
I?
yesterday about your mom, and you
Yeah,
never mentioned like her amazing.
yeah, she's amazing. But the thing is, we actually do share something in common in our profession because even though she would go and she'd set up all of these biotech labs, then they'd get it all set up, and then they would get someone with a lesser degree to continue. And so she'd hop from
Mm,
industry to industry. And so she used that experience. Now she has this like, I think she's been doing it for like 30 years now. She's a teacher. And she teaches, she prepares people for the biotech industry. My
oh,
sister's in biotech, my brother-in-law's in biotech. So she's a teacher too. And we share that in common. And she loves her, we're both introverts and we're both animal people, but we both say that aside from our human students, we would rather be with pets. But our
right,
human Pilates people, her biotech students, those are our exceptions to our feeling introverted all the time.
right.
So I got that from her for sure.
Cool. Yeah, so we got a lot from your mom and your grandmother, of course, the really ultimate Brazilian influence there. And as
Yes.
I've spoken in the past, just like I'm adopted from Brazil, so it's a cool little connection to have you and I, Brazilian Pilates
Yes.
instructors, and I
And I
see a
was
lot of
saying,
people watching are from Brazil too.
yeah. And it's never too late to learn the language because I mentioned to you yesterday that when I was pregnant with my son, that's when my grandmother got very ill and we were very, very close. And I always spoke a little bit of Portuguese with her and I understood, you can always understand more than you can speak. And she would
Right.
always tell me, you need to start reading in Portuguese more and that will give you the vocabulary. So every morning at breakfast, I would just study, I would read words I didn't know, I would keep a running list. I have notebooks and notebooks of words that I would just, write the definitions for, and I just kind of taught myself. And when she passed away and I was pregnant, I said to my mom, I said, I want my son's first language to be Portuguese from now on. And I was like 30 going on 31. I said to my mom, let's only speak together in Portuguese, no English.
Right.
So
Which is
that
totally
helped a
different
lot.
than what you had been doing your whole life.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
different. And my grandmother, she has an interesting background too because she was born in Manaus in the Amazonas state.
Wow.
Her father was one of the rubber barons when they didn't have synthetic
Cool.
rubber, but then when they had synthetic rubber, that whole industry went
Yeah.
kaput. So they moved. But when my mom was doing her human genetics work at University of Michigan, they were doing some sort of a study, she said, where they were checking the proteins in the blood, and they were comparing it to the proteins in the blood of the Yanomamo Indians in Brazil. And when they used my mom, they were using the students as the tests. She had the same protein as the Yanomamo Indians. So they
Cool.
saw, they said, well, why are we spending money getting the cells from Brazil? Let's just use her.
Use yours.
So my mom, every time she saw needles, she'd go running in the other direction.
That's amazing. That's a
But
really cool
yeah,
background. Okay, so
yeah.
you spent a lot of time growing up. You grew up in Massachusetts, and then at some point you came to Florida. So what brought you to Florida?
Well, I was a dancer, and so gradually I worked my way down the East Coast, and I danced for a few companies before I landed here. Actually, with our wedding theme, I one time when I was in an early dance job just to help make ends meet, and I could never see myself waiting tables. I would be terrible. It would be so stressful for me. So I worked part-time at a bridal boutique. And that was
Oh,
awesome
cool.
because I was helping all of these brides and I learned a lot
Yeah.
about wedding dresses. So that was a lot of fun. But then I worked my way down to Sarasota, met
Right.
my husband while we were dancing,
Oh,
and we're
really? He
gonna,
danced there
yeah.
too?
Yeah,
Wow.
so he's from, he danced with Bolshoi Ballet in Moscow, and then he
Wow.
came to the United States, and Sarasota Ballet wasn't his first company. He was first in Charleston, South Carolina,
Mhm.
and then at the time we had a lot of Russian influence here, and I had a lot of Russian ballet training too. So a friend of mine who's a Pilates teacher, Robin Warden Blum in Atlanta, we were dancing together and she said, you need to audition for Sarasota Ballet. They have ballet masters who are Russian and they're going to love you. So I used to tell her, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have met my
Exactly.
husband.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Sometimes you need that little
I
push.
just did a class with her this morning, so we stay in touch, and I have a lot of my friends from the ballet days are also now Pilates teachers. So there are some people in the Pilates industry that I've known for
Oh, I'm sure.
30 some years.
Yeah.
But yeah, now in April, my husband and I are going to celebrate our 20th anniversary, our wedding
Wow.
anniversary.
That's
So
awesome.
time
Congratulations.
flies.
Yeah, it really does.
I was telling him, what can we really do? Because it's still, there's so many
COVID.
limitations.
Right.
So I said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we get the photographer who does our family photos, did my book photos. I said, let's do some
Oh,
wedding
wait,
photos. Like, let's do some new ones.
your mom and sister are listening in from
Oh,
Boston. They're so
really?
proud of you.
Oh my gosh, because
And that's so sweet.
I didn't think that they would. Oh, that's awesome. It's just hard, with the
Welcome.
Wi-Fi and everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that's
made it.
awesome.
That's so nice.
Well, I was going to say that, so I brought up the idea of doing these wedding, and my mom, speaking of my mom, she gave me this beautiful, I love to collect vintage, and she got me the holy grail of vintage dresses for a collector, which is a spider web lace dress, and it's from the 1930s. And it's an ivory, so it can easily pass as a wedding
A
dress.
wedding dress.
So I told my husband, I said, I'm going to wear that dress. I was going to wear it last March to go to the opening night of Sarasota Ballet's Swan Lake, but this time it'll be for our photos. And I said, do you think we should maybe renew our vows? And being from another culture, that's maybe not something that they do, at least not when he was growing up in Russia. So he looked at me and he said, why? Do our vows have an expiration date? So I was like, okay, forget it. Let's just do photos. But
You'll find a way for sure.
yeah, I just try to find ways to stay creative during all of this craziness. Like you saw, my daughter did pictures for me last weekend where I was trying to just have fun
Right.
reenacting Elaine Malbin's poses.
Yes.
You just have to
Those were so
find
fun. So
something to do.
yeah, a lot of people connected to those photos, which are so fun. Like Elaine Ewing
Yeah,
found
I'm so
photos
glad
that
that
she
she
hadn't
did
ever
that.
posted before of Elaine Malbin working with Joseph Pilates. And they are on a new Instagram page that Elaine created. And do you remember the
I
handle
think it's
right now?
called Original Pilates Photos, I believe.
Okay.
Because
And
I check it
so,
almost every day. I think
yeah, she goes,
it's just so generous that she's done that, and I'm so grateful. I really love that, and we can have such a little inside glimpse into what the studio looks like, and the equipment, and the colors.
yeah,
It's
it's
just
really
really
cool.
quite a gift.
It
Yeah,
is
I
really,
just
yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Okay. So you wound up in Florida, you met your husband, and how did you find Pilates after dance or during dance?
Oh, well, I actually probably when I was around 14 or 15, I had Pilates mat classes as part of my curriculum with Boston Ballet School.
Okay.
So I had been doing mat for probably a good 10 years prior to going into the training program and getting into the equipment. Um, but I have to admit, I would sometimes cut class when I was a ballet student because I'd want to go in an empty studio and, put my pointe shoes on. But then
Yeah.
I would also see these professional dancers taking the class, at the time I was in the school. And that said something to me that the professionals see value in it. And when you see that, then you're like, okay, I better pay attention to this. And,
Right.
I had multiple injuries. I guess I'm the type of person that if you say I can't do it, I'm going to try harder. And I
Yeah.
didn't have the strongest feet. And I broke my feet a total of 5 times throughout
Oh
my
my gosh.
dancing. Most of them was when I was a student, but I had muscle imbalance. I had a lot of like knee things. And so Pilates then became my go-to place when I had an injury. It was the best way to try to stay in shape.
Hmm.
I even one summer I was in class and my pointe shoe as I was turning slid out from under me. They were new pointe shoes. They weren't broken in very well and it was a slippery floor. So I slid. All the other times I had broken my fifth metatarsals, all 4 times before. But that time I broke my leg. I broke my fibula and I sprained my ankle. So
Uh,
while I was home that summer on the off season from Sarasota Ballet, I was doing my Pilates. That time I couldn't convince the orthopedist to not give me a cast. I had to have a cast. So I would
hmm.
do my 100 of the cast leg resting on top of the other. And I would just try to stay in shape there that way. And I met this man, this Russian guy who I think is the modern day Joseph Pilates named Igor Burdenko. And he worked with a lot of ballet dancers and a lot of athletes in the Massachusetts, New York area. And like I would see Merrill Ashley, a famous New York City ballet dancer, in the pool doing his water therapy. And so we would do
Cool.
exercises in the pool and there would be rings and I'd pull myself out. And it was really something special. So when I got back to the ballet company at the start of the season, I was back dancing and everything, just barely. I mean, I could even shave my legs and still feel a spot where I had fractured my fibula, but I
Hmm.
was given the okay to go, and so I went with it. And the director came to me and said, "You look a little bit out of shape." And I didn't tell him that I had broken my leg because I just didn't want
Yeah.
him to know. So
Right.
you just kind of hide those sort of things when you're dancing. You just want to
Oh,
seem
I'm sure.
invincible.
Right.
So I was like, little do you know, I mean, this is good. I just came from a broken leg and a sprained
Right.
ankle. So, but it was very helpful to have Pilates through my dancing. And then when I was 25, that's when I went through, I'm 46 now. So when I was 25, I went through the program and I was really fortunate because at the time, Romana and she was at the time working with Sean and they had a training center 1 hour and a half away in Fort Myers.
Hmm.
So I would drive there every day. I did a 12-day intensive with Rocky, and I couldn't have asked for a better teacher. She was amazing. And then they would fly down all of the other amazing master teachers, Juanita and Lori Coleman Brown and
Right.
Shari. They all would come. And I went through it very fast because I had to. I had to get to work, and I didn't have anything else. I wasn't working part-time, so honestly, it was like 4 months, and I was ready to get certified. I spent every
Wow.
waking minute at that
At the
studio,
studio.
and I went through very fast. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I was
Seriously, that's a record. It
constantly. I
took me
got
like 8 months.
sciatica from driving. Yes, I know it was a record. But I got to New York, and Ramana wasn't so used to all of these satellite studios. It was still kind of new. So I
Hmm.
had to win her over. But I did my final training with her there at Drago's gym. And well, that
Right.
was like a controlled circus. It's crazy.
I've heard so much about Dragos. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. No,
Yeah,
I've
so
I've
it's
heard
just
so
like
much about Dragos. I wish that I had had the chance
yeah.
to walk on
I mean,
in.
speaking of rings to pull yourself up, there were
Right.
rings
Oh,
hanging
yeah.
from the ceiling, and I'd be teaching a mat and then stand up and hit my head on the rings. I'm like, it was just really, it was phenomenal, but
Yeah.
it was one of the best times of my life. It
Yeah.
was so phenomenal. And when I had to leave because I had to work,
Right.
um, I just cried so much when I said goodbye to Romana. And she reminded me a lot of my grandma, my vovó in Brazil, the way they they both kind of flirt with guys and love to have a little drink and love the arts and
Right.
well-traveled and speak many languages. So there was a connection there that I felt with her, and just being so grateful because you're lucky, I think, if you can find one passion in your life. You know, if your profession can be a passion, you've hit the jackpot. And I did
Totally.
that twice.
Right.
So
Dance
that
and
was,
Pilates.
amazing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you certified obviously through Romana's Pilates, and that is the program, school affiliation, I don't know, that you are still with today. You're still with
Yes.
Romana's Pilates, correct?
Yeah, I'm
Um,
with Romana's Pilates. Yeah.
Yesterday we
Yeah.
spoke about something that is very unfamiliar to me, but I thought it would be interesting to bring it up here
Oh.
today because I think people that are not affiliated with the actual like business Romana's Pilates, like obviously I am
Hmm.
certified under Alicia, who's certified under Romana. So like I'm through my
That
lineage through
lineage.
Romana, correct? But I'm not a
Yes.
part of Romana's Pilates, like that family. That so anyway,
Hmm.
something that I have seen in passing. I've seen comments on Instagram. I've seen people sort of like mention it in their bios, but I've never really understood exactly what it meant. Is what it means to have levels in Romana's Pilates, and
Hmm.
I don't even know how many like levels really there are, or what that
Right.
means, and I would like maybe to be educated about that. And I think maybe some people who
Okay.
aren't familiar with that could also, and like what it means and why.
Yeah. Okay. So when I got certified initially, you can hear me, right? I didn't freeze.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, you're good.
When I got certified initially,
I got my sweatshirt.
we only had our master teachers. They were just like like a dozen handpicked teachers that Romana picks, like Lori
Right,
Coleman Brown and
right,
Roxanne Richard Swang and Anthony Rabara. And so those were our teacher trainers, and then there were the rest of us.
hmm
And then to help out with the testing, Romana's daughter Shari, who's a grandmaster teacher, and her daughter Daria, Romana's granddaughter Daria, who's also a teacher trainer, they came up with the idea to create these levels so that then Shari doesn't have to go travel all the way
right,
to Asia to test out. So now where it was before, it was Romana is the Grandmaster level 1, and we have Juanita Lopez and Shari Mejia Santo, and then we also have Cynthia Lachard now in Australia.
hmm
Then the ones that were like the original master teachers, they were called level 2s. And
okay,
then they created a level 3. Those level 3 teachers now can teach a basic seminar. So that saves a lot of traveling for the other master teachers because that can be done locally.
right,
And then they created a level 4, and that's so that an apprentice can come to your studio, and those hours of observation and taking lessons, those can count on their apprentice log. And then
right,
level 5 plus would be if you've been teaching for more than 10 years, and level 5 are the newly certified teachers. So it's a very
a
good,
lot of levels.
it's a lot of levels. And so
And what
one of the
level are
things,
you?
I am a 5 plus, and people are very surprised to hear that. And the reason being was that 15 years ago, well, almost 15 years ago, June 2006, I was doing my continuing education with Romana here in Fort Lauderdale, and I was asked to become a leveled teacher. But the timing just wasn't the best because I was hugely pregnant, and I was expecting in 1 month I was going to give birth to my son.
Okay,
So we agreed that it just wasn't the best timing. And then and I'm just honored that that was asked of me with Romana
hmm
when Romana was around.
right,
And then since then, it just hasn't come up.
right.
And I think in a
Do you think it
way,
matters? Do you think people look for that? Like if they're in the Romana's Pilates, like family teaching
yeah,
program, teacher training? I don't know. Like
I
if I ever
don't
went to your
know.
studio, I don't like because I'm not a part of the Romana's Pilates, like
Hmm.
family, like I would never question or wonder about that. I just wonder, like,
Yeah,
is
it's
that like an
just
important, like,
it's a very good business model because it,
yeah,
like I said, it helps spread the work of training the apprentices. If they were to ask me again, I would probably say yes, but I don't feel comfortable asking. I was asked when Romana was right there with me, and that to
oh
me is
yeah,
the most important thing. And
yeah,
honestly, I don't think I would have written one, let alone 6 Pilates books had I had that as also an additional workload.
Right.
So it just depends on the person. Some people like to have that number by their
Hmm.
name. And honestly, I work with many Pilates teachers. I don't pay attention to that
Right.
because there are and especially now with Zoom, where it's opening up where we can see the capabilities of so many teachers.
Yeah.
And if Ramana trained you, or if you were trained by someone trained by Ramana, chances are you're a pretty darn good teacher. And
Right.
then it's up to you to self-educate and take your
Yes.
continuing education as well.
And
So it's
you're
really the
always looking for
dedication.
someone whose teaching style meshes best with your learning style, so it's
And
not
personality too. I
exactly.
mean,
Yep.
you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if your personality doesn't mesh with your student,
Right.
you're not, I can't be the
Not gonna
teacher
work.
for everybody.
Right.
So it's not saying that I'm a bad teacher, but I might not be the best one for a certain student.
Totally.
But I love all of my students.
Yeah, of course.
I'm so proud of them, and yeah, and they support me, and I try to support them. So, that I think that going back to the leveling, for
Yeah.
some teachers it can be a sense of validation.
Yeah.
And for me, just being asked was a sense of getting that validation from Ramana.
Oh, totally.
But the real validation comes from our students.
Yeah.
When they tell us, like when my 91-year-old came in yesterday morning and she had a really rough week, and I've never seen her walk ever with a cane into my studio, and she did.
Hmm.
And she just looked different. Her image of herself was different. But she
Right.
got on the reformer and she said to me, I come here because this always makes me feel better.
That's so
And
sweet.
it just, and she was so kind to, the things she said were so kind to me, it almost made me cry. I'm an emotional person that was like, hold it together. And
Yeah.
that to me is the biggest validation you can get. It's seeing that it's making a difference, because it's not just the 45 to 55 minutes in the class. You want it to be a lifestyle. To me, Pilates is a culture.
Yeah.
It's the history, it's the equipment, it's the exercises, it's how you use it when you reach in your closet for a heavy suitcase, how you're thinking about your Pilates
Right.
principles, you're using your mind. I just go back to what Joseph Pilates used as describing his method, and he said it's the art and science. So I have something in common with my mom as a scientist. It's
Yeah.
the art and science of body, mind, spirit development, and that development is an ongoing thing. It's not like
Totally.
you get it, you're done, and what's the
No.
next thing I can learn.
Right.
So that's what I really love about it. And that's what I love when I can see that click in my students, that they see that this is more than just a workout. It is so
Right.
much more.
Right.
So,
It definitely, it
yeah.
100% is. And there's so many places that I could take what you just said, but I'm nervous that we'll get cut off in a few minutes. So I don't want to go too deep, even though
Okay.
I want to go deep, but I don't want to go too deep. But the one thing
I
I
love
will
talking
say,
to you. We were talking
I
so long
know.
yesterday. I only had to leave because I had to pick up my daughter and she would wonder where I was at the bus stop. But
Yeah, exactly. Like,
we
I
could
gotta
talk
go. My
forever.
daughter's been waiting. Exactly. But no, I do think that it's probably the best pivot point from that is just to talk about, you know, what you're saying about investing in the method and Joseph Pilates' work. We spoke yesterday on the phone about like, delineating and really making the difference between and I've had this discussion in the past. I haven't brought up recently, but what is Pilates versus what isn't, and why we're
Hmm.
so specific about preserving this specific method, not things that people
Right.
have taken from the method and then made into their own, but what for you is so special about the classical work, and why is that what you stick to specifically?
Well, I stick to it because it makes sense for me. And then if I get a student, let's say, who is an out of towner, and they want to do something that's not the way I was trained by my teacher, by Romana, I'll say, you know what? I already have something in my syllabus that can do that exact same thing. Let's do that.
Right.
So that's how I get around it, because I don't
That's
see a
smart.
need to add something to it
Right.
if there already exists
Yeah.
something in the method that I've been taught that can
Yeah.
take advantage of it.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
the same way. I always think back in the day, and we don't have time to really get into it now, but I did film my
Mhm.
What the Fuck Wednesday videos a long time ago, and I had a lot of fun doing it, but I really felt like it was a teaching moment. It really was. Because I was thinking to myself, why do we see people doing this exercise on the reformer, which is something that someone created and got creative with, when we already
Right.
have this exercise in the system that's
Yeah.
accomplishing the same movement, but just perhaps in a
Right.
more systematic and safer
Yeah.
way. I mean, it's not always that it's safer, but it's just the fact that like if this already existed, you know, and I think that's important.
Right.
And that's why I choose to stick to this classical syllabus as well, because it's so all encompassing and everything is
Hmm.
there, you know, everything exists within
Yes.
his full body of work. I mean, I really don't think by any
Yeah.
means that it's incomplete. So there's
Right.
always somewhere to go with it.
And you can still be creative while staying classical. Like
Yes,
I tried to
yes,
do that with you today and give you,
totally.
there's a short amount of time and give you creative
Yeah,
ways of getting transitions and things to do and showing you some pre-Pilates
yeah,
and some archival Pilates and, the
yeah,
physical culture
yeah.
and just putting those little things and using the imagery. You can get very creative. You don't have to create a whole new exercise to be creative.
Right. Right. I love that.
Yeah.
You don't need to create a whole new exercise to get creative. Ah, all right. Well, on that note, because I do think Instagram will cut us off if we go over the
Okay.
hour, which it usually does, but I
We
do want to
did
get
it.
to, we did it, but I do want to get to my speed round. So this is,
Oh, okay.
I don't know, maybe my computer died, but if it did, I can remember the most anyways.
Okay.
The speed round has nothing to do with Pilates. It's this or that. You're just going to say the first thing that comes to mind. So really not much thought. And this is a way for us to get to know you a little bit better outside of just like you in the studio and just who you are
Okay.
and what you like in
All
life.
right.
So my computer is with me, but it might not last. So we'll just see.
Okay.
I'll send it to you after if I don't get to write all the answers
Okay.
down. But we're going to start here with city or beach.
Well, beach, I guess. I like them
I
both, but
guess
I'm a
you're in
Florida girl
Florida.
now. Yeah.
All right. Are you sweet or savory?
I like both, but I would pick savory because if I had one meal to eat for every single meal, one food, it would be my husband's borscht, which is the
Oh,
best. So
right.
savory.
The Russian. All right.
Yeah.
Are you cat or dog?
Well, I have 2 cats and 4 dogs and a guinea pig. It's both. That has to be both.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't play favorites. Adventure or comfort?
Comfort.
Are you books or movies?
Books. I love movies too, but I love books.
I'm books as well. Are you nights in or nights out?
Nights in, but if it's nights out, just long enough to wear a pretty dress and then come home. I don't need to stay anywhere for very long. And I don't want to
Okay.
get it dirty, so I want to come
Yeah.
home.
Are you summer or winter?
Winter if it's in Florida, summer if it's in Massachusetts.
That's very diplomatic. I like that.
Yeah.
Tea or coffee?
Neither, but I've got the Brazilian coffee that I'll try every once in a while. I've got the Russian tea, but really for me, it's neither. I don't want to be
Okay,
dependent on any caffeine.
I like that. Early bird or night owl?
I really am naturally an early bird, but sometimes I get stuck sorting laundry and doing all sorts of things at night. So naturally, I'm meant to be an early bird.
Okay. Pizza or pasta?
I don't know. I try to avoid both, but I do like them both.
All right, we can
So
say
I don't
both.
know.
Are you Europe or Asia?
Well, so my husband, he toured all over with Bolshoi, all over Europe and Asia. I haven't been to either because I always want to go to Brazil because there's always another place in Brazil I could go to. So I would say South America, but I would love to go to Japan. I'd love to go to France. I'd love to go to Europe and Asia, but if I can choose, it's always going to be Brazil first because I speak the
Okay,
language and I have relatives.
got it. Spring or fall?
Fall in New England for sure.
Hmm, I love fall. And then finally, breakfast or dinner?
I've been bad about having good breakfast, so it'd have to be dinner.
Yeah, dinner's more fun anyways. All right, Christina, we made it. You did it. All
Yay!
all the tech. It's so funny because every
All
time
that
I speak
stuff.
with my guests beforehand, I'm like, I go live 2 minutes early in case there's any tech problems. Everyone on the other end of the line,
Oh
I
my
can tell,
gosh,
is
I
always
thought
like,
I had it
what
for
kind of tech
sure.
problem? I know. Everyone's always like,
I
what
was
do
like,
you
what
mean?
could
What kind
go
of tech
wrong?
issue
I've
could
got
that
it on
be?
airplane mode and it's all
And I'm like,
set up.
believe me, something can go wrong, and it
Yeah.
always does. It's like Murphy's Law.
That
Anyways,
microphone thing that threw me off, but yeah. And
yeah.
then the time limit for my social media of the day. I was just like, oh God.
That's okay. It came back to bite you. But anyways, thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining, and I hope you
Thank you,
guys enjoyed.
Victoria.
You're very welcome, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.